Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And this watch is named after Nick Faldo, golfer and watch connoisseur, an Audemars Piguet ambassador who gave rise to several memorable editions, of which this might be the coolest. So you're looking at the 2003 model year Audemars Piguet Royal Oak 15190SP in steel and platinum. It was a 450-piece limited edition and a rare display case back with a Jaeger-LeCoultre movement. Generally, Royal Oaks have a display caseback or a JLC movement, not both, and they really decided to customize this right down to the use of a golf ball motif and a signature on the rotor. The watch is a beautiful mid-size. In terms of dimensions, it's about the size of a 14790. Platinum bezel steel case. You can see the watch is relatively thin in profile, 8.3 millimeters thick, 36 millimeters in diameter, though it wears a bit bigger. Lug-to-lug, just the case, it's 46.5 millimeters, and then the intermediate link to its opposite number from plot to plot, and that's what those little intermediates are called. They're called the plots. It's 50 millimeters across the wrist. The thing about these watches, all Royal Oaks and offshores, and really the whole integrated bracelet class, especially when non-round, the watches wear larger than the rated size. So my wrist is 16 centimeters circumference, and maybe a 36 is not a natural match for me, but you can see this is very much a men's watch. It looks more like a 38 or a 39, to be perfectly honest, and being super flat and flush, it will fit underneath a dress cuff, even though it is a sports watch, and a very viable one. We'll go over that in a moment. The bracelet is beautiful, and the finishing here is distinctive. Oftentimes when you have a platinum bezel on an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, you will see it polished like this to declare itself in no uncertain terms. And then you can actually see the difference between true white platinum and the white gold of the traditional Royal Oak bezel bolts, because they look white until you put them next to platinum. Then you can realize they're actually a little bit of a warmer tone than pure platinum. The decoration, from the expanding bevel over the lug hoods to the bevel that runs perfectly aligned down the shoulder links, the polishing of the ends of the intermediate links, even inside the bracelet. These bracelets, according to AP, and I always quote this figure, taken between 9 and 11 hours to finish, and it's because all the decoration's done by hand and it is slow going. We have removable links that are fixed in place by screws, and you can see that on both sides with quite a few degrees of adjustment. We have a single fold logo style AP deployment clasp, and then we have a little trigger right here. You pull the trigger in and you withdraw to open it up. If you leave it, it will actually click closed and stay closed, so it is a single trigger release. The watch is fascinating on a lot of levels because if you take a look at the case back, you can see it's built the way the original Royal Oaks were, monoblock. So the case back and the mid case, they're all one piece. This is how Gerald Genta designed the watch in the early 70s. From 1972, the monoblock case is also how the jumbos were made up until AP decided to take money out of the watch and start building it as a three-piece case. This is more expensive. It is the designer's original intent, and it's exactly what you want to see on a Royal Oak in terms of construction. Also worth mentioning, this is a 50-meter watch, but unlike a jumbo, which is 50 meters, this is a screw-down crown. So when I talked about this being a legitimate sports watch, 50 meters with a screw-down crown, you could surface swim with this, and it's fascinating because it is a monoblock case. You could see that it's a front loader with the stem tube assembly, the dial, and the movement all loaded from the front, and so there's that little notch in the upper part of the case because you can't load through the case back. It's fascinating and beautiful. The rounded octagonal bezel was originally inspired by a vintage diving helmet. You can see the hexagonal form of the bolts, which are slightly recessed below the bezel as they're supposed to be. That is echoed in the hexagonal form of the crown. The character lines from the bezel through the mid case through the case back continue unbroken. You can see we've got a slight hairline expression of the bezel gasket as a styling element. That was always Genta's intent. Emmanuel Guet with the offshore made the gasket much more prominent. We have a little bezel flank that's brushed, so there's a lot of nuance here. The dial is what's known as the military style dial, but it's got a lot of quirks. Not only is it military style with the radial Arabic numerals, but it's got a center tapisserie, so it's actually a center hobnail, and if you get really close, you could see it is a true lathe tapisserie with many tiny details from the vintage engine that turns that. And then it's got broadsword hands and a counterweighted triangular index white lacquered seconds hand, plus the Royal Oak logo on the dial. So there's a lot of very unusual elements here. And in terms of lume, this was a 2003 edition, so we're well into the era of Luminova, and my goodness, does this watch put out in that regard. You will be hard-pressed to find too many Royal Oaks that well loomed, and also Royal Oaks with a loomed seconds hand. Taking a look now at the back, you can see Nick Faldo made this his own. For those of you keeping score in Audemars Piguet land, E88000 is 2003. Nick Faldo, the golf ball rotor, and then this is a JLC 889 in here. So long-term association between JLC and Audemars Piguet, actually dating back to the late 19th century. You could see the 889's unique combination of Triovis micro adjustment, KIF shock protection, and then this little jeweled reversing rocker here that ensures no matter which direction the rotor moves, the barrel is wound in the same direction. You can also see the use of ceramic rotor bearings to improve its efficiency. It is a automatic winder with a 40 to 42 hour power reserve, a 4 hertz beat rate, about 36 joules, 5-position adjustment, also worth mentioning quick set and hacking, so it's got those important features. And the movement's nicely decorated with a measure of manual and mechanical execution that is both price and brand appropriate. So a JLC movement in an AP watch, that's a match made in horological heaven. And it makes a lot of sense too, because they're neighbors. They're a stone's throw from each other in the Vallée du Jeu. And this is one of the most interesting Royal Oaks ever made. It's also a hard one to find, especially in good condition, with the bezel still full and well defined, with the bolts recessed below the plane of the bezel as they're supposed to be in factory spec. So there is a lot to love here. A watch that you'll never see again. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.